Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We're once again live on HireMilitary's LinkedIn page and Facebook page. I'm Matt Quick, the Director of Training and Development. I'm here today with Jerome MacDonald. For those that don't know, well, we have many services here, but Jerome's in the Army, and he's based out of Fort Hood, Texas. And for those Marines and Air Force and Navy guys out there and Coast Guard, um, it's called the Great Place. I've been there a few times. I just don't know why it is called a great place. So, Jerome, if you want to kick it off with why is it called a great place?
You know, I've been at Fort Hood 3 times. It's a love-hate relationship. Probably a lot of other posts are the same way. If you get, that post that always seems to call you back, Fort Hood is that one for me. Great community, great military community around it. It is really a great place. It's very high tempo, a lot of deployments. Life is rough. Fort Hood, I think that's the main reason some people don't agree with the title "Great Place." But yeah, that's the Army. I'm sure a lot of other posters the same way. I think Fort Hood is a great place. I like it. We love the community, and that's where we're trying to stay, is right here in the Central Texas area,
That makes
because we
sense.
love the community so much.
So tell us where Fort Hood is in relationship to bigger cities, and you want to stay there, of course. So why do you want to stay right there?
Okay, so Fort Hood is probably roughly about 45 minutes north of Austin, depending on traffic, up I-35. Pretty much what centrally located between Waco and Austin. Dallas is about 2.5 hours. San Antonio is 2.5 to 3 hours, depending how fast you drive. So, but pretty much is almost smack in the middle of the Texas map is Fort Hood. We love the community here. There's a lot of cities and towns in the surrounding area. Um, if I have to, commutes are available to Waco and Austin, some of the bigger cities
Hmm.
from where I live, which would be about a 45-minute commute. Not the worst thing. But we just love the community. My wife has a great job here. We love the people here. We love Texas, period. So my wife's from Texas. A lot of reasons why we really just want to stay right here if we can.
So your wife's from Texas. You're going to stay there. Where are you from originally?
I'm actually from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, believe it or not. I'm a dual citizen. Dad's American, so I was born abroad as an American citizen. Joined the Army when I was 17, been down here ever since. Texas has been about half my career between Fort Hood and San Antonio. So I'm an adopted Texan, and
Okay.
I married into Texas, so I guess that counts, right?
Absolutely. And I'm sure the great state of Texas loves to have you there and your family. So, and I'm sure they're glad to keep you there as well because the benefit that Texas has for veterans is just probably the best in the states, right?
It's pretty good, yeah. It's endless list of resources just for me doing the transition process right now. The Texas Workforce Commission. There's just so many opportunities, so many grants for education. It's almost overwhelming how many resources there are. So if you're not focused, you can get a little lost. But there's a lot of resources, a lot of groups, from when you're getting out to when you're out to when you've been out for however long. But there's a lot of benefits, and the government's very supportive. Communities are usually pretty supportive too. So.
That's great. So so you spent a lot of time in Fort Hood, a lot of time in San Antonio. Which one did you like better, and what brought you to San Antonio?
So San Antonio is probably my favorite city in Texas, just for the culture, and it's just a different flavor down there. It's not quite as busy as Dallas. I went down there as back then, one of the last group of drill sergeants to go down there to be a drill sergeant for the combat medics. That was when they transitioned out of the drill sergeants and they just brought in regular platoon sergeants and instructors. But I ended up hanging out there for still 2 years, belonging to the drill sergeant branch. So I was only there for 2 years. My daughter was born down there on the Air Force Base. So I got a little bit of connection down there. But we go down there fairly often too. We love the city, so it's just a really nice place to be. But we like Central Texas, a little bit less city. So we're kind of a bit more out here in the country if we want to be. So this is our preference.
Okay, good deal. So Lackland Air Force Base, your daughter was born at?
Yes, yeah, she was born there at the time. The Army hospital did not have capabilities of doing natal stuff. So now they do, but they didn't back then.
It expands, you know. That's good. So what's your so I say you're a drill sergeant. That's pretty impressive. What's your background and what do you want to do when you leave the military?
I've had a different career than some. I know everyone's got their own unique career. Had 3 MOSs, came in as a field artilleryman, cannon crew member back in '97. So I did that for about 3 years, reclassed back then to what was the '91 series, which is the medical series.
Hmm.
And I actually reclassed to mental health And back then you had to go through the combat medic course to get to the mental health course. So I went back to back at Fort Sam, medic course, then mental health course. I did mental health in the Army for 3 years up at Walter Reed Army Medical Center, in the inpatient psych ward there. Got out of the Army for just under a year. Went home to Canada, did some odd jobs in security, hospital security, and court and prisoner security. Back then, on my way to try to be a police officer. Things didn't work out. Me and my wife got married, and realized the Army was a pretty good deal. So we came back to the Army, never left. Been a combat medic ever since. Been in places like Fort Hood, off East San Antonio, Walter Reed. I was at Columbia, South Carolina, at Fort Jackson, where I was actually teaching at the drill sergeant school for 2 years. And then we did 5 years in Hawaii, which was amazing.
Wow.
If it wasn't for the cost of living, that would be our destination.
So Hawaii, you've been there. You spent 5 years there. Normal tour is 3 years. How'd you get 5 years out of that?
Then my son was in high school, so we did the high school stabilization, and they approved. So,
so you accepted, of course.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's smart. So this isn't your first transition from the military, right?
Right, and it's like night and day from what I went through back then to what they do now, because that was in 2003, and there was a program, but it was kind of voluntary, and otherwise it was just a pat on the back and see you later. So
I heard that twice today now. So how was it back in 2003 compared to as it is now?
Well, I was at the hospital at the time, so already there wasn't much of a base to speak of at Walter Reed, so there already was a lot less resources and just facilities to begin with. That was probably part of it. But the program was really just kind of voluntary. There were a couple of check the blocks, and then even if you chose everything they probably had for you, there wasn't much to choose from. So it was really just process out, be on your way.
And nowadays, I mean, all this is congressionally mandated. You must go through these different points to even get out these days. And now the information is so great. I mean, there's so much information right now. You know, it could be a full-time job just a transition itself, right?
Yes, it is. I'm actually in a great unit right now. It's really giving me all the time I need to take care of it. I've heard some horror stories from other guys and women whose units are just working them to the last day, and they're just in a bad spot, and they're just not. Don't know who to talk to, maybe to push through or whatever. Like, I mean, I'd fight it. This is all about me and my family right now. So, anyways, my unit's great. But yeah, there's so much stuff to take advantage of, and if you don't have some time to take care of it, you're going to miss out on a lot of good programs.
So since your units go so great, because there's a lot of great units, but there are some that either work their people to the last day or they choose to work to the last day. So hey, give a shout out to your unit real fast.
I'm in the mighty 9th Hospital Center, the 11th Field Hospital, formerly known as the 21st Combat Support Hospital. We reconstituted last year to a new configuration. They are the ones that just got back from New York, so shout out to them.
Okay, good.
They're doing awesome things for the Army, representing us very well from what I heard of, and they did an amazing job up there, and kind of felt left out. I know it's my turn to you know how it is. There's a raging river, you're in it, and when you step out of it, it just keeps raging. So it is what it is. They did a great job up there, so I trained a lot of those soldiers, and I was proud to see them up there.
Well, that's awesome. I'll tell you, you must be proud that they went there with your training, because with your background, your training is probably pretty good, and they're all coming back soon, right? Or they all came back, right?
Yeah, they're back on ground now, and they're just going through the process and taking some leave and some stuff like that, yeah.
Well, from me and HireMilitary to your command, thank you for helping Jerome, or giving him the really latitude to transition successfully, because that speaks volumes of your leadership. So what's next for you, Jerome? What do you want to do when you get out? And have you got any offers yet, or what's going on?
Yeah, so I'm definitely have a healthcare background, as we spoke about earlier. Definitely that's my main target, is to stay in the healthcare field, the easiest transition. I know the lingo, I know the way things are run, from the military side, but there's not a lot of differences from the military side to the civilian side. I've worked in, hard stand medical facilities on bases, which is basically like a civilian, run like a civilian hospital in most aspects, and clinics the same way. So looking to step into like clinic management positions anywhere in the administration or manager operations side of any kind of hospital or clinic facility. And then right now I'm just targeting Baylor Scott and White, which is the largest healthcare facility here in the area. I've got some connections there who used to be in the same brigade as me, actually, and they're just actually a little bit ahead of me on transitioning. So they're there working and planted, and I've reached out to them and I'm trying to get an internship there specifically before I get out, so I can seamlessly transition. But honestly, I'm pretty open. I have a lot of skills besides the medical field. I haven't just done medical stuff in the Army. Anyone who's been in the military knows they make you do a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with your job. So
True.
I'm pretty open to opportunities here in the Central Texas area. If I'm being honest, my family is a big priority for me and their stability. So I'm looking very hard here in the Central Texas area at every single opportunity that comes my way. But I am making concrete plans and trying to pursue those. I'm not just sitting around waiting for those opportunities to show up.
And at least you narrowed down where you want to stay. And it's, I'm sure your family followed you around for years. Now it's on you to follow them around. Hey, this is where I want to stay. So you made the decision, you'll stay in Central Texas. You're making good progress with the networking because you already have connections in the place you want to go, which is phenomenal. And you're using that to hopefully position yourself for an internship on the way out.
Right.
I see you're already approved by HireMilitary. There's plenty of, you can do it on your own. It could be painful. That's why we're around. But if you can get it on your own through networking, I'll tell you, it's a big win for you.
Right.
So what has been maybe the biggest or the top 2 or 3 services that you use while you transition that you'd recommend to somebody else?
I definitely am a big fan of SFL TAP from what I went through the first time I got out to what it is now. It's a great service. I think a lot of soldiers don't take advantage of all the things they have to offer. Fort Hood being a very large post has probably, maybe a bigger array than some posts may have, and a good community that supports. So when you go to a job fair here at Fort Hood, it's a huge deal. Like, it's a mega fair. It's almost as big as if you went to a job fair in Austin or Dallas or something. They do a really good job here in Dallas. So definitely being plugged into SFL TAP and not just doing a check the block sweep through the SFL TAP is definitely the first step. Doing it 2 years out or more if you're retiring, when you've been doing this so long. Junior soldiers, if you're a leader, make sure that they have the opportunity to do the same thing. Just because they've only been in for 4 years, they deserve the same chance to transition well. Hire Heroes has been great. Obviously, that's why I'm here, and I'm definitely pursuing everything that Hire Heroes has for me, the internship. I've recently signed up with the American Corporate Partners. I've been assigned
Good program.
Been assigned a mentor already and had our first contact with her. She's a corporate entity in the pharmaceutical sales, so somewhat in the healthcare field, but she's got a lot of good insight into that world too. So really excited about that. She's got a lot of good insights, just obviously been in the corporate world. No military background, which is fine because I need to start shaking that stuff off anyways. And just, being Jerome MacDonald, which is pretty new and you've been in for 20 years, even though I got out for a while. So those are the top 3 I'm doing. And then just networking, like I spoke about. LinkedIn is definitely huge. Been really the best avenue for me right now, besides in-face, person and people that I know. LinkedIn has been a big deal, and making sure I have the premium account to make sure I have all access to it. Those are the big ones I'm working on right now.
So yeah, definitely American Corporate Partners is a great program. I went through them too, and so many others do. They match you up with a mentor from a corporate America, and they taught me about not just what I want to do, but the career paths that are available in the field that I chose, or even they guide you somewhere else based on what the discussions you have. Have you already been through Onward Opportunity to get a certification as well?
I have not.
Well, what are you waiting for? No, hey, after
Good
this,
question.
we'll definitely talk about Onward Opportunity. But they give you, they put you through a training course, 3 months maybe, and you go through. You get a certification, the HR, IT, PMP, for instance. There's plenty of opportunities to get free certifications. Go through their training. You get lined up with a test, and they pay for it. So that's out of Syracuse University. They put it on, and it's all over across America. Onward Opportunity is a great tool to use when you get out to get those PMP certifications because they're pretty popular.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. And I did get, I actually got a grant through the Texas Commission, Workforce Commission, to do the PMP class, and that's when COVID-19 hit. So the college, luckily I finished the course, but all the testing sites closed down. So I actually am, I have to review now and study again, but I am trying to get my PMP here once all the testing sites are up and running. Although I did hear they have it online if you want. They watch you on the camera to make sure you're not cheating. But I'm trying to get my PMP here before I get out. I did finish the course at Central Texas College.
So speaking of the COVID, what do you miss? What do you miss most about pre-COVID?
I was pretty private to begin with, so maybe one of those people that didn't, and I'm an outdoor person, so I've continued to go outdoor and hike, and we live in a community with their own trails, so I didn't even have to worry about the parks closing.
That's good.
Just going out though, and the family, just getting them out of the house. It's been definitely a challenge. The kids are at home, and I'm trying to transition. So, and I'm trying to make sure my wife, she's still working. Her job didn't shut down, so she's been working the entire time. So I'm just trying to just support now. I mean, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying that I'm the one now supporting where I can. I have a bit of time on my hands to help with the kids and make her successful in her job. So I miss being out with some friends and stuff we haven't been able to hang out with. So I've probably been less affected than some. So I'm blessed that way, and I'm grateful for that.
I miss the haircuts myself.
Yeah, I broke down and let my wife do it. I was looking pretty rough. I let my wife do it. She did a pretty good job. So.
Oh, good. Now, did you tip her well, though?
Well, she takes all my money anyway, so I mean, it's all good.
That's fair. That's fair. My wife cut my hair too, and she did a good job, and I appreciate it. It might be time again. It's been a month, so.
Right. I'm not out yet, so I got to maintain the standard.
That's true. So, what we always look at the positive in transitions. What is it that you want to see change in the transition over the next couple of years that maybe the rough patch you went through for transition?
I really can't speak to any rough patches because it's such a great unit. I've just been talking to other veterans, some of the guys who were going through the P&P course with me, and just what they're still expected to do and how they blow in at the last second in uniform, just trying to be able to get to a class that they want to get, and just that, a bit more protection from the higher levels of the Army on making sure that leaders know, maybe more education, just education for the leaders who aren't getting out to know that what it takes for a soldier to get out and how to make them successful and why it's important as a country to make sure that our veterans are successful when they get out. I think that's a piece I can speak of as a leader that until I was going through it, I never had any education on why it was important for my soldiers. I want to take care of my soldiers, and most leaders do. But if you don't really understand how important this transition process is, whether they've been in 4 years or 20 years, I think you're missing out on the support they need to be able to go and do those things, because mission's going to keep rolling without them, and you just need to understand that. You need to let them do their thing, take care of their family. Some of them are moving across the country when they're done. Just a lot of things. I think that education piece for leaders in the military is lacking, at least in the Army.
No, and you're right. We're seeing that. So we're working hard to educate, but it's got to be a top-down approach. We've got to understand it. And those people that, not all of them, but there are a few that deny a DoD Skill Bridge internship opportunity or deny different things. They're the ones that get their personal ones approved when they get out, and that's frustrating. But that's a small percentage we're seeing. But I'll tell you, if we can knock that out to an even smaller percentage, we'll keep doing that. What has been the most successful thing in your career that you want to talk about?
I've had amazing experiences. So there's a lot to draw from. I remember the biggest impact experience I had when I was a younger soldier that really set me on this course of having a career in the military was I was at Walter Reed during 9/11, the day that it happened. So we saw the smoke from the hospital, and I was able to be part of a small team from Walter Reed that arrived at the crash site the day after, and we worked there for 2 weeks for 16, 18-hour days, just being a medical support team going around helping everybody we could help out there on the ground, mostly the support workers and the rescue workers. Just to see America pull together, it was amazing. Anyone who was in New York, I'm sure, saw it even more than I did at the Pentagon. But just to see, and then here we are, almost full circle in a different way, COVID-19, just to see America pulling together, and it just solidifies in my heart the service, and it was worth it, I think, for me and my family to do the sacrifice to be, on call for America for 20 years, whether we had something going on with the family or not. I think that's the best experience. It's just those experiences. The deployment I went on, once again, another solidifying fact, just to go over there and see what we're doing. I deployed to Iraq just once, did detainee healthcare, which was not the medic's desirable mission, but we do our mission, we do whatever we're told, and it actually ended up being a big eye opener to see in their culture in Iraq and to understand different people than the U.S. So it's a long list, but being able to respond to 9/11, being a drill sergeant, and then teaching at the drill sergeant school, and being able to see the inner workings of educational institution and understanding what goes into making educational material, revamping educational material when there needs to be changes, and that aspect. I also did human resources while I was at the school because I came off the trail early, and I couldn't be a drill sergeant anymore. I had maxed out drill sergeant time, so they put me in the S1, the human resources shop, and I did human resources for the entire school as a medic for a good 6 to 8 months. So that was a good learning experience as well.
Was that a reward or a punishment?
I think my sergeant major thought it was a reward. I didn't think it was a reward at the time, but coming out of it, I knew a lot of the inner workings of human resources within the Army, and it really helped me as a leader.
I know Chris Thorne's watching right now, and believe me, he's an HR guy. And Chris, we love HR, right? So it wasn't a punishment; it was definitely a benefit and a reward.
Yeah.
So I guess you had enough time in Hawaii for 5 years. They said, "We'll put you in an S1 or a personnel job." So that's what you get. Hey,
yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, that's it. You're right.
Hey, so
yeah.
we have a few people watching us. If you have any questions, I'm trying to scroll. So it looks weird when I look over here, but I'm looking at two monitors trying to figure out, trying to read some comments so I can answer some questions online here. Maybe get some Jerome. Maybe I see you have an Air Force guy here at Fort Hood with you, the great place.
All right.
So maybe you guys can get together there and get a beer when all this stuff opens up again. Who knows? Looking for some questions right now. So yeah, Eric Rankin, he's an Air Force guy in Fort Hood, the great place. So hey, Eric, you guys can maybe link up.
Yeah.
When the broadcast is done, I'll make sure to edit the post to link Jerome's name there, so you can actually click on that and connect with him and see you guys get together. So so you're looking at healthcare management. Is there anything else you want to do when you get out? Any kind of goals you have?
Really, I'm just looking to get into just the next job. Really, I haven't. We have some financial goals and personal goals as a family, of course, to make sure we're prepared for that second retirement. So that's really this next phase of my life, is to find a good job that will pay enough to match my retirement pay and get us into a position where we can really retire within another 15 years or so, and really just enjoy life. Maybe have some grandchildren by then, and just double retire and live that dream that people talk about. So that's the goal, is really to set myself up and my family financially for success as we move into this next phase.
I'll tell you, the military retirement pay, really the compensation package is worth so much money. So those who want to get out now, consider staying in the military to retirement. Those that don't want to, I get it, it's not for everybody, but those that are close, it's good to retire, and that's worth a lot of money. So have you already went through your disability claim process, or do you know much about that at all?
Just through the SFL TAP and the first classes that you go through. So I know that that's really one of my biggest targets, my next top 5 that I need to really get up to speed on. And first step, of course, gathering all my medical records and making sure that I have everything that I need to have. And if I don't, then get that stuff documented before it's too late, and then start the process. But I do plan on going through the claims process, and that's something I need to get probably smarter on it, and go through that process. But I know I'm definitely pretty much in that window now where I need to start doing that.
Yeah, at least collect the information now, but you can't file or get with your VSO until you're 180 days out from separation date, not transition leave, but date. So you're going to get out when, February or March?
Yeah, February 1st.
Okay, so you have a couple months. So yeah, gather all the information. Once you have all the information, go see your VSO, which could be your DAV, VFW rep. I went through mine, and she was phenomenal. They had a chart. They said, mark down where it hurts, and then she went over it with me, and then we marked down where we thought it hurt. Then she goes, hey, bring this to your spouse and have her do it too, because our spouses know how often, I guess, we're in pain.
Right.
So they actually help us out a lot too, and that was helpful. because I missed 3 or 4 things that my wife knew about. I brought it back to claims process, and they added all in there. Had my appointments, and it was really helpful to have the spouses involved as well. Don't discount them; they're part of the process too.
No, you're right. I mean, and that's right. As you know, as soldiers or airmen or Marines, we just get used to it to the point where, our spouses, I think, probably are the only ones that notice after we've just kind of put it to the back of our minds that we just go about our business to finish our career. We don't make any comments, but they know when we have a hard time getting out of bed or getting up from the floor or whatever it is. The spouses notice, So that's a good point. I never even thought of that. That's great that those resources think about stuff like that for us.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I try to share my experiences with so many people, because I know it helped me out a lot. And another thing a mentor told me was, leave your pride and your ego at the door when you go to do the VA claim process, because they're not there to really fix you. They're there to diagnose and see what's wrong with you. So just be honest, leave your pride and ego at the door, and just be upfront, because when they say bend over and they do their I guess their range of motion tests, you'll see. I know I did mine, and she goes, "Did that hurt? Did that hurt when you did that?" I said, "No." She goes, "I saw you grimace. Let's try that again." So I was trying to, be the man and not show the pain, but they're there for you when you transition, so it's helpful.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of veterans who've gotten out, and they all tell me the same thing on the medical side. And being a medic, I've been preaching it for, as a medic, I'm like, just go get it documented. It's not about having a profile or whatever it's not about trying to get out of anything. It's about just making sure that you get the medical care. You signed up for the military for the medical care. It's one of the benefits you get. So go document it, make sure it's in your records, and then now in this process, then continue on and pursue all the stuff that is legitimately been caused through military service. It's a hard life, and it may be not now, but down the road, as you get older and maybe some other problems develop, you're going to want to have documented and done the process correctly. So,
I've been off. I've been off at military for 18 months now, and there is more pain coming as you go. And it's not funny how it is, but I tell you, it is true. The more time has passed, the more pain you're in. And I don't want to take any drugs. I'm not into that. I want to be okay. So I want to still do my runs, still do my workouts without a lot of pain.
Right.
Looking at questions here. Hey, a lot of comments. You have a small little fan club right here, so that's good. So after the broadcast, go back and look at the comments and respond to them. And Corey Ledbetter, he says, "Hey, Jerome, what are your plans to utilize the Forever GI Bill? So do you have plans to use yours, or have you transferred it?"
Saying Forever GI Bill, is that different than the regular GI Bill? Because my wife used all that up already for her education.
Well, that could be it then. So since you transferred it, it might be gone.
Yeah, she used that. I mean, we've gotten 2 bachelor's degrees, and I got a master's degree out of the Army and haven't paid a cent for. So GI Bill is gone. Unfortunately, my son used the last little bit of it. But we're pretty good with 2 bachelor's degrees and a master's degree paid for by the Army. So I can't ask for much more than that in this day and age where education costs, another mortgage for most people.
Not a bad benefit, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, that alone is worth, who knows, depending on what school you go to.
Your new friend Eric Rankin says VSOs here on Fort Hood are awesome. So Fort Hood VSOs,
great.
Thank you, because I guess you're awesome down there.
Good. That's good to know. Yeah, Fort Hood really does have a great support network. As much as people complain about Fort Hood, the community and the people and the people who work at Fort Hood, on the majority are great, really great at supporting the soldier.
Okay. I'll check out some more questions right here real fast before we close out. Hey, any final words you want to share with us, or maybe talk to an employer real fast about what value you bring to them?
Well, talking to any employer out who might be listening or listen to this afterwards, I'm just speaking for veterans. Whether you know or not, some of you who are more veteran friendly understand the value that a veteran brings beyond what their main job is in the Army, especially those who've stayed in for 20 years and have reached leadership levels where you a lot of the times don't do your job anymore. So the value I bring is really just an amazing amount of experiences, some that I volunteered for, some that I was voluntold to do. But just having been through that, I'm a person who does more and above and beyond what you tell me to do. You give me a job, and I hold myself up to a standard of excellence, whether it's a job I really want to do or not. Anytime you're in any employment, I believe there's going to be times you don't want to do certain things, but it's about always bringing your A game, always bringing your best each and every day, and taking care of those people around you, whether they're your boss, your peers, or especially your subordinates, those who work below you, who are employed underneath you. They are definitely, I think people are the key to any operation. So having been in a leadership position and being able to take care of people and understand people and think that it's important to take care of people, I think it makes any organization successful. You've seen the greatest organizations usually are the ones who take care of their employees, who have high level of morale for their employees. So I have a lot of experience managing equipment, personnel, logistics at the hospital level to support an entire hospital out in the woods. So logistics, human resources, the medical field, the Army has blessed me with a lot of background and skills that I am just really looking forward to and excited to put to use for another organization, just to be part of a team.
That makes sense. So, hey, good luck with that. Another question here. I get my shirts made by my wife. My wife makes these shirts by our Cricut she has. But if you want to get your own shirt, they come in maybe 6 colors. Go to the HireMilitary site, go on merchandise, and they sell them for you. So I have got probably 11 or 12 different colors of HireMilitary shirts. And thanks for that question.
Good.
Hey, Jerome, I appreciate it. Your time today. You've been fun. Great place. If you haven't been there, go visit in the Texas area. We'll be on again tomorrow at 2 p.m. With another transition service member. And tomorrow, a special one at 11 a.m. East Coast time. We're going to bring on the Director of Recruiting for TechQual, Lex Brown. He'll talk about the opportunities with TechQual and how you can be a military account executive. So stay tuned tomorrow. Jerome, thank you very much. And I'll call you in a couple minutes here, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Matt.
All right, take care.